Okay, thank you very much for being part and still watching SMB, Smart Means Business. Almost tell people that it's an award-winning, hosted by award winners. But anyway, it's a Tuesday, and Tuesday is normally that day after Monday, where most people hate Mondays because Mondays are fixed. Like I said, you know things about Monday. But Tuesdays up for free, for getting to feel the working space after that long weekend that you've had, where you've been, and all those details. A lot of things do happen. Now let's get into the economic activity, which is dropping for the first time since September. It is time for the press review, and this is a report coming in from the Daily Monitor, and details here reveal that economic activity has dropped for the first time since September. Which September? Last year. Coming in there. But before we even go in there, just a quick one. In most of our situations, like of life will change drastically sometimes, and every time life changes is people also change, because as times change you always have to change and adapt to a situation, and all that is part of life, because life is you only live once. We all know that, and it's something that you always have to imagine, create, script. I always tell people life is all about scripting. You script your life, and in a situation whereby things don't go according to your script, it is either because of the nature causes, or you fail to follow the script. You see, in most cases when you script our life, we script it according to capabilities, and then after scripting it, we overweigh. But why we overweigh is because we believe God will still create a room for us to achieve that. So you always have to follow that script of life. Every time you script your life in that narrative, you become the director, you become the script writer, you become the actor. So every other time that goes is you always become that same person. So you continue driving your life on that script, and once the script is finished, that is when you definitely say it is time for you to get back to that grave. So just follow your script your life accordingly, and follow every step of the script. Every stage of the script is supposed to be followed. Let's get into the press review here. As according to the Daily Monitor, economic activity has dropped for the first time since September last year, and there has been a marked slowdown in economic activity due to the disruptions in the supply chains for some raw materials such as sunflower seeds and palm oil, and the impact of increased fuel prices. Now the issue about sunflower seeds and palm oil tells you, or gives you, a picture of why we have high cooking oil prices in the country, right? Definitely there. So in the details, in the March performance of the economy report, the Ministry of Finance said the composite index of economic activity, which measures movement of business activities, declined by 0.05% from 147.24 in January to 147.16 in February, and this signaled a slowdown in economic activity in some sectors of the economy. So the economic activity declined marginally for the very first time since September 2021 due to supply shocks for raw materials such as sunflower seeds, palm oil, and the impact of increased fuel prices, and of which, when you look at the increased fuel prices, there are very many. So this shows you, gives you the room that the economic activity is still dropping greatly, because the fuel prices are still high, are still escalating, hiking one way or the other. In the details contained in the March performance, like I said, it was revealed that activities declined by 0.05% from 147.24 in January to 147.16 in February, and this signaled a slowdown in economic activity in some sectors of the economy. And this was the first time there has been a decline in the index since September 2021, and noting that the supply shocks and rising fuel prices experienced during December has been exacerbated by geopolitical tensions in Europe that have distorted global trade patterns, which also includes increasing inflationary pressures in developed economies and crude oil prices. Then the shocks and the increase in fuel prices have been sustained since March, which further threatens recovery and growth obtained to a result of that particular the reopening of the economy since January. Fuel prices have been rising since December, due in a part to a strike by truck drivers over COVID-19 requirement and shock on supply chains. So if we are to look back, in March, Uganda Bureau of Statistics indicated that the fuel prices had increased by more than 36% since December, which is now estimated to have risen to above 40%. Government, early this month, turned to Kenya seeking for an increase in allocated monthly petroleum import quotas to address current shortages. In an April 11th letter, the Energy Ministry Permanent Secretary Pauline Irene Batebe had asked her counterpart in Kenya, who is the Energy Principal Secretary, Andrew Kamau, to increase fixed allocation of 110,660 cubic meters of petrol and 110,400 cubic meters of diesel transported through Kenya to deal with fresh demand, partly driven by reopening of the economy. So when we look at some of this situation, but last week Kamau from Kenya revealed that they had not received the letter from Uganda, noting consultations will be conducted as soon as contents of the letter are understood. As far as we are concerned currently, fuel prices are very high in the country, and if you're to look at what we're actually seeing is that most of the Ugandans are actually bowing out of using private cars. Some people are actually going in for public transport now because it looks more cheaper or way cheaper than maintaining a car, which fuel is now a liter going at 5,500, 5,600, and the diesel being at 5,100, 5,200. Then at least you would resort to going into a taxi or a bus, or you get a boda, because the level of maintenance will not concern you, or let's say you won't be supposed to actually pay for the maintenance, servicing, and then insurance, then you have fuel. So all that, in all, with the ongoing crisis in the country, so you can see what is actually coming in from there. But almost every other region has different prices, but as far as we do know, according to the information that is coming in from the details that we have so far, is clearly showing you that most of the areas have fuel prices that is actually shooting up to a very huge amount of from 5,000, because if you're to look back in March, petrol was around 5,000. Diesel was 4,600. Now, as we speak now, there is a drastic change of over 500 shillings in there in regards to the fuel prices. Not only in Kampala, if you go up country, if you go to any other place, you will still find this coming in from there. So this is some of the prices that are actually affecting the value chain or the production process of most of these commodities, because once the prices are high, transportation costs are going to go high. Then that means the cost of production has to increase definitely. Companies using fuel not only burn in the machines, others are using fuel to transport these goods from the factories down to Chikubo or down to the supply or down to the retailers. So almost all of this happens because of certain situations that are being brought about by the fuel prices. And when you see that clearly gets back to you. Well, I did mention about something about Elon Musk owning Twitter at the time. These are some of the things that were making headlines yesterday night, and we go into this one deeply, but even tomorrow we shall be giving you more of a build-up to that particular one. Now, as of yesterday, news broke out that Elon Musk and Twitter had reached an agreement to actually, for the owner of Tesla, or the world's current richest man, to own the company. So he put in an offer of $44 billion, and the Tesla CEO Elon Musk will now buy the social media company and make it private. And this was confirmed yesterday. So, and if you're to draw back some of the situations how Elon Musk goes back into buying Twitter, there was a time he made a tweet saying he loves Twitter, and one of the users apparently teased the billionaire by asking, can you, he just teased the billionaire by telling him, then buy it. Then he was like, how much is it? So now in the long run, we see processes happening. Elon Musk buys shares in the company, having 9%, which meant he has the biggest shares in there, having the largest shares in the company. Then later on, prospects were coming in that he's going to join the board. Now, yesterday, news broke out that he had offered $44 billion to buy the company, and it will now become a private entity belonging to Elon Musk. So, Musk did reveal through Twitter that free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and he says that Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. So Musk made this statement after offering that particular $44 billion. So he also said he also wants to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the productivity with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential, that is according to Musk, and he says he looks forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it. So that is where we are seeing what is coming in from Elon Musk owning Twitter. So we shall be looking and making sure that we follow up on situations coming there, and to make more of you to get to understand this. Now, summing up more from the press review, we take a look at China, which pledged greater contribution to human health on World Malaria Day. So Chinese President Xi Jinping said China hopes to make greater contribution to the health of humanity as the world was marking Malaria Day yesterday. And when you look at the African continent, by the way, it is one of those, most of the African countries are greatly affected by malaria. And it's still a very huge challenge for most of the governments. Even here in Uganda, we've seen the government pushing for the fight against malaria to see that the Ugandans can ably prevent malaria, sleeping under mosquito nets, using mosquito repellents. Others have been told to actually use a lot of methods to see that they can clear the bushes. All this happened during primary. So China came out to actually assure that it's going to contribute to human health and to contribute to greater human health. And that was statements coming in from the World Malaria Day, which was called upon yesterday. Okay, let's get back here to today as we try to build up on the first S&P report that we had. Now we're going to get feedback. Last week, the Capital Markets Authority was at Ndejje University Business School in Nakawa, and they were taking students through the available capital markets and also on the available saving investment schemes as well. Yesterday they were at Ndejje University taking the students through the same situation, business-oriented students. Now let's try to have a look at what happened, a response from those particular students that went through the trainings. What did they get to understand? Or maybe you get to also understand why you need to have information regarding capital markets. This was of the students who were through a training that happened last week. Take a look.
Irina Cynthia Nasanga is my name, Bachelor of Commerce, Year 3. Today we are graced with ICEA, SBG, Securities and Capital Markets Authorities. Why we should invest. I've actually learned a lot from this session, from these activities. We as young people usually do not take up this opportunity. Get a lot more in the future. Gone are the days when our parents would have gardens, when our parents would have a lot and actually pass it down onto us. These days our parents are in corporate offices and you'll not be certain that you'll take up office in the future. So start now, invest now, take up this chance and buy shares. Take up, we also studied about unit trusts. You should take up these opportunities now than later, because later, just like how stocks started and everything, later you may not get the chance, you may not get the opportunity. MTN was floating shares. Right now people are smiling. You should take up this chance right now and invest right now. I personally have learned a lot from unit trusts. You can start with as low as 100,000, and even in securities you can invest a lot, and trust me, you will be smiling at the end of the next 5 years. Actually, at the end of this year, by the end of this year, you will be smiling.
To host Capital Markets Authority, and what I have learned from there is what is required to be an investor. SDA account, and SDA is a security depository account. You need a national ID. You need a capital of 100,000 shillings only to be an investor in Uganda, and you secure your future. Your future is bright when you invest. The money you invest has a compound interest on it. It is so awesome. You need to invest. Please secure your future by investing as low as 100,000 shillings. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Obed Tashobia, doing a bachelor's in commerce, year 3, finance option.
The investment sector of the world, different assets where to invest in. We have been enlightened on when to invest, how to open up the accounts which actually support our financial as youth. We as students, we should invest now. We shouldn't wait for years to turn, then we should then invest. This is the right time to invest. We shouldn't waste time. Investment, finance has a concept which says money today is better than money tomorrow. So invest now so that we earn tomorrow. We shouldn't wait for more years to invest. Invest young and enjoying when you're old. That's why this event has happened today, and we have been fed very well with wisdom. We have actually gained wisdom. We are looking forward to invest. As students, we are opening up accounts. We are learning more investment skills. With Markets Authority, BRITAM, and ICEA, plus SBG Investment, Asset Investment Management. Thank you. My name is Joseph Mugabe, the president of Mofisa, MOBS.
And there you have it from those 3 students who are taking you through how this is going to impact their lives, and how most of them are learning that you can invest even when you're working, or even when you're a student. You can invest the little you have and see that you can gain more once you're done with school and you have a starting point, rather than just saving money and you're not getting or making profits out of it. But once you're saving for investment, you can save your money, and then after it, get more money. Or at the end of your savings, you get more money because your money is growing, or it's actually productive. And when you look at the situation here, there is also a very huge concern that majority of Ugandans seem to be channeling efforts to foreign stock markets, and this is one of the reasons as to why the Capital Markets Authority is trying to show and providing a platform for Ugandans to see that the markets are really profitable for them, so that they can easily know that the capital markets here in Uganda are profitable, and Ugandans can still invest in here instead of taking their efforts to the foreign stock. So this is why the reason the trainings are going on in schools, universities, institutions of higher learning, and as well as private entities, for people to know the importance of investing in stock, investing in capital-driven, if I'm to put it in that way, capital-driven stock, capital-driven investments, capital-driven discussions and conversations. Okay, and that's it for this particular second hour of the show. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're discussing The preparations for the International Labour Day. How has Uganda been? How have the laborers in Uganda transitioned? How have the employees in Uganda today transitioned? How is the working space in Uganda transitioning? Is there a change? Is there a rift in change? What are those challenges that are still there that need to be really addressed? So these are some of the key discussions that we're going to be talking about. And remember, Sunday will be the International Labour Day. So our discussion is definitely going to be uprooting and setting a foundation as we wait for the fruitful day on Sunday. And that is where our major discussions will be. Stick around as we come back with our topic of discussion.